Another kind of soul is revealed by the man who takes pleasure, not in achievement, but in destruction, whose action is aimed not at attaining efficacy, but at ruling those who have attained the soul of a man so abjectly lacking in self-value and so overwhelmed by the terror of existence, that his sole form of self-fulfillment is to unleash his resentment and hatred against those who do not share his state, those who are able to live as if by destroying the confident, the strong, and the healthy, he could convert impotence into efficacy. And that's from The Virtue of Selfishness, and I highly recommend that book. You can actually get an audio version of that book on YouTube, or you can get it at audible.com. But Michael, what's your first thoughts on that opening quote by Ayn Rand?
Yeah, it's an awesome book, very controversially titled, of course. But once you get past that, then, it's like open sesame to the Aladdin's cave. And it's also one of the most profound quotes you could think of, because it strikes at the heart of the altruistic front, the facade that people put on, the mask that we play, or that we see being played out around us. And she's hitting the nub of the matter, that this is the witch hunt of today. This is the inquisition that goes on today to destroy genius. So with all of these idiotic shows that appear to be about, selecting a great singer, or, I don't know what you call those kinds of shows in Hollywood, but, these selection shows, and everybody appears to be on the surface looking for this star, but there's a huge difference between celebrity and true genius. We have all the chicanery, we have the fraud of it coming out of the woodwork, but this woman is definitely talking about the artistic genius. She's talking about the artisan. She's talking about the industrialist. She's talking about the capitalist. And she's talking about these things in the right dictionary definition. Because every time you hear the term capitalism, or the term ego, or the term industrial, or any of these kinds of terms, or genius, or selfhood, you'll notice that I don't get into arguments with anyone, and never really have, because right from the off they're using the wrong definitions. So you have to go to somebody who even knows how to define a term like capitalism, in distinction from all of the inadequate translations. So her book works very good for that. Just even if you're not going to buy into her objectivist philosophy, right? It's a good word to start, just for the curious person to get a real true definition of what some of these terms mean. But again, that quote just goes to the heart of the matter, that there's an antagonism beneath the surface of society, of life, between the one and the many. And genius is only accepted when it is made subservient to the will of the many. And when it is, it's given front page news. So then we know it as the celebrity type of genius that the media focuses in on, you see. But should a man arise, a woman arise, that is interested in emphasizing not just selfhood, as is implied in her work, but a very specific kind of individual, an individual who's not trying to escape from himself or herself, who's not afraid of the dark side of life, who doesn't edit, who takes the pain, because pain is instrumental to genius. Without pain, nobody would change, in society and things like that. So that's just an extraordinary look at this antagonism that often a lot of people wouldn't even acknowledge is actually going on. But it is. It is happening in the family, where adultism has replaced parenting. And all adultism is a kind of authoritarian system, paradigm in the home. So she's not talking about corridors of power necessarily. She's not talking about something that's out of reach of us. She's talking about something that's absolutely intimate. And then hopefully in our discussion here, we can also show that it's also internal to the person and the development of the ego, the superego. There's an internal tyranny night and day, and that's causing the meltdown psychologically. And when there's psychosomatic disorder and dysfunction and even deviancy, that's when Big Brother gets to work, as I've shown throughout my work. So Ayn Rand plugs in a lot of different areas here, because once we do psychologize these issues, which Nathaniel Branden did more than her, but nevertheless, she created the foundations for a psychology as well as for a philosophy, okay? And once you do psychologize what she's talking about, it's no different than what Erich Fromm was saying, or Karen Horney, or anybody. And that when you have this stress and the fallout and the exhaustion from the inner conflict, that will be exploited on the highest level by Big Brother. So there's an enormous good reason for delving into her work.